Hi Body Buddies, I'm Christy Joe. Today I want to talk you through the Power Foods lifestyle strategy and how it is such a successful way to factor in the foods you're eating, track your macros, count your calories without being obsessively plugging things into your phone or an app. This is a wonderful structure that helps us meet any person's needs and give them strategy in a way that we can easily make changes and a lot of nuanced needs that people have with certain conditions or goals. Maybe you have a goal to gain muscle, maybe you have a goal to lose fat, maybe you have a goal to balance out some hormones, maybe you have a goal to reduce wrinkles, maybe you have a goal to help your brain function properly after a concussion. No matter what is going on in your life, we can use this system to meet your needs. So a few key principles that we need to understand. Protein is an essential part of every single meal. Protein breaks down to your amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks in your body. Every cell in your body is going to be turning over constantly. We have hundreds of millions of cells that turn over every day, and protein helps to rebuild new cells, new tissues, new muscle, and even like hair in your skin and things like that. And so if you're not getting enough protein, that is a problem. Protein is also going to help us with stabilizing blood sugar, which is really key, because if we use this little graph right here to represent your blood sugar, whenever you eat a meal, that blood sugar is going to go up. Whenever you wait and you're not eating, depending on what you ate and how much, then your blood sugar will come down. Well, if it goes below this level, this is what we call hypoglycemia. If it's up here, that's called hyperglycemia. The goal in fat burn particularly is that we want to stop the vacillations of blood sugar, and we want to be able to control them in this beautiful range. Now, if you're testing, we're looking for a number between 80 and 110. I mean, ideally, I want to see around 100 to 105, but your blood is going to fight to keep it here, which is why if it goes too high, insulin is secreted from your pancreas. Insulin's job is to get this excess sugar and pull it into the cells to be used for energy, for brain power. And so that's a really great thing. Unless the doors to those cells are not opening very well, the microvilli that really help with that absorption, there's something going on that's called insulin resistance. And so that's a topic for another time, but basically the one thing I want you to get out of that is that if insulin is being secreted due to high blood sugar, what is going to produce high blood sugar? Well, it's going to be your carbs. The takeaway is that we want to start controlling the types and amounts of your carbohydrates, aka sugars, that come in your body. We want to regulate when they come in, how much, and what type. So carbohydrates, they are going to break down to sugar. Now there's different types of sugar. You have lactose, which is the sugar in dairy. You have glucose, which is the most common sugar that's in most all of your packaged foods, your pastas, your breads, your bagels, things like that. And then we have fructose, which is the sugar in fruit. And so what we want to do is just really start looking at all of our foods that fall in the carbs category, and we want to start timing them in the right portions, at the right time, and in the right frequency if we really need those, okay? So this is kind of interesting. When your blood sugar goes too low, your body also has a mechanism to help with this, because if it kept dropping and dropping and dropping, then that would be a big problem. Have you ever gotten shaky and dizzy and you're just like feeling like you're going to pass out? Maybe you've experienced hypoglycemia. And so your body is going to go to the stored sugar, in other words, glycogen. So your body is going to go to your liver and all of the muscle sites in all of your body, and it's going to break down that stored glycogen, which is like a pearl necklace, and it's going to break it down into its individual pearls of glucose and feed it back in the bloodstream to get this back up to balance. Your body is fighting for this balance all day, and the better we get at keeping our blood sugar here through our strategy of eating, the better. Now that I have laid that foundation, let's go ahead and finish out our macronutrients. So carbohydrates are going to feed the brain as its primary fuel source, and then also the muscles as their primary fuel source. Okay, then we have our F, which stands for fat. Fats are going to break down into monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, saturated fats. They're all lipids. Okay, now fats are really, really important for, gosh, so many things. Let's say number one, hormones. Did you know your brain is 60% fat? So we're going to tie it in with brain as well, which is why we call carbs and fats energy nutrients. You'll see in a minute why we call them energy nutrients, okay? So hormones, brain, also satiety is a big one. A lot of times if we're not eating enough food, we're not getting that feeling of fullness, and therefore we want to eat, and then we go eat the carbs, and then the blood sugar goes up. Have you ever been in that situation? And then either you're not feeling good, or your blood sugar is going crazy, you're not losing weight because you keep putting carbs in your body, and that could be a problem. Okay, and the final little piece here of what we're going to be putting in our body is V for vegetables. While protein, fats, and carbs are macronutrients, in other words, the big nutrients, those grams, you'll see those grams on the back of any ingredient label that you look at, those contribute calories, which is where they get the total caloric number. Now, just so you know, they don't ever add up to the T, because these are like microchemical tests that they do in order to get the caloric burn rate of food. And so there's always like variation in that. I've had so many people try and like add it all up, because there's 4 calories per gram of protein, 4 calories per gram of carbs, and 9 calories per gram of fat, and they add it up and it just doesn't make sense because it's not the exact caloric number. So just know from the get-go, it's never gonna be like point on, like really on. Okay, so vegetables, they are technically a carbohydrate, a non-starchy carbohydrate, but they are so important, and they just are not the same weight and density and energy contribution. They contribute cofactors, which are vitamins and minerals essential for our health, for the enzyme production, which unlock hormones and so many processes in the body. So we are going to write down cofactors. Okay, now here's where we get into aspects that you need to understand before we start building strategy. Number one, what is needed in order to anchor any meal you eat? It's going to be a P and a V, protein and a veggie. Amino acids bind with cofactors to produce proper neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers in your brain that help with the firing from one dendrite to another, and that really facilitates good moods, feeling satisfaction in life, feeling fulfilled, and it lays the foundation for us to actually live our life. And so if those aren't firing and working properly, no matter how much psychologizing we do, there's gonna be a disconnect. And that's why balancing our physiology is important before we ever get into any next level psychiatric and psychological and spiritual things. This is really my belief. I love working in those things, absolutely, and I do that very intensely with my clients, but we first must get the body firing properly. That's when we can discount that this isn't just something off in the body. So PV, we're gonna have this as an anchor in every meal. Then we're going to look at our energy nutrients, carbs and fats. Now, as a strategy, I would like you, for the most part, to think, do I need a fat energy or do I need a carb energy? I'm not saying you can't eat a carb and a fat together. Based on that blood sugar display I just showed you though, what would be the most effective? If you were trying to lose fat, we would choose the fat over the carb most of the time. The only time I'd want you choosing the carbs is 2 things. Number one, physiological, which means you can literally feel your blood sugar getting low. Your brain is just not thinking all the way. You are just, you know you need some energy. Maybe you're gonna go play in a basketball game or something like that. Or Number two, psychologically. Psychologically, we all have some connection to sugar. Now, there are strategies for how we control that sugar intake in the Power Foods lifestyle. We'll talk about that in another video. But the psychological connection is recognizing when perhaps things are so chaotic and crazy in your life that choosing a psychological satisfying carbohydrate could be the key to enjoyment on that one day that would set you up for a more sustainable lifestyle change that you can continue instead of being like, oh no, I had a binge and now I'm off the wagon for 3 weeks and now it's just feed my face. Have you ever been there? I coached a lot of people through binge eating and emotional eating recovery, and this is a strategy that works very well, but it also does require some conversation, and I would love to be able to have that opportunity to help you navigate your mind in what would work best for you, the way you think, your personality, your life. That's what I do as a coach. All right, so now that we've laid the foundation, I am very excited to show you just how easy it is to use this strategy to count your macros and your calories and to meet the requirements of what I just described. Now, if you're curious about other eating styles, and you're like, do you know about these? The answer is yes, I do. In the Power Foods lifestyle, it is an entire umbrella for every eating style, but there are really key principles that we have to hit, which is what make it Power Foods lifestyle. The other thing that makes your eating Power Foods lifestyle is the use of peak, range, macro, little representation symbols. So let me get them up on the board and we'll start talking through strategy. The Power Foods lifestyle baseline structure is going to be 6 meals a day. This is for a few different reasons. Number one, when you have not been taking care of your body, when you are feeling sick, when your organs are not working properly, you feel like your metabolism is broken and things in your body are just not moving, you're not having at least 3 bowel movements a day, we need to use this strategy to get things moving. Also, the number one reason people miss work is symptoms of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And this strategy of smaller, more frequent meals timed in the right portions absolutely helps people feel more confident and feel better and like no pain. So that's wonderful. So let's first start out with the anchor. Every meal has to have its anchor. So let's get our P's and our V's up on the board. Okay, we have our P's up here first, so let me show you the grams of protein. No other macronutrients or calories are needed. All you need to do is look at the amount of protein, and that will qualify as a P. So that is going to be 15 to 30 grams per P. Okay? By the way, this also meets the requirement for muscle protein synthesis whether you're trying to tone your muscle, whether you're trying to put on muscle. The principle being protein in a range. If you're trying to put on muscle, we'll get closer towards like 25 to 30, the higher end of the range. Whereas if you're working on your health, fat loss, you're working out, but you're not like really into the muscle building, then we hit on the lower end, like 15 to 20, maybe 25. So we'll get into that. Let's go ahead and get our veggies on the board. Great, now we have our true anchor of a protein and a veggie at every meal. Veggies, the formula for finding that range is about 1 to 2 cups. Or about the size of your fist, that's about a cup. By the way, on the protein, the 15 to 30 grams, if it's an animal protein like a lean hormone-free chicken, if it is some grass-fed ground beef, if this is some salmon, then about the size of your palm, the thickness, that's about gonna hit you in the right range for that protein. Okay, so now we get the fun of really putting on our energy nutrients. Now, here's the fun of the Power Foods lifestyle. This is the baseline formula is strategized for a 1,500 calorie intake, which helps us either decrease calories, which that really shouldn't happen very much, because if we get our calories too low, metabolism's going to shut down and we may expedite fat loss for maybe 1 to 3 weeks, and then your hormones are compromised, your metabolism is so low, and you will start rapidly gaining fat whenever you start eating above that new threshold, as your body has adapted to that, so it's only going to burn that amount of intake. So we don't want to push calories too low, which is the number one question I get asked when people are like, well, Christy, why aren't you putting me on like a cut plan? Because I am a wise enough coach and strategist to not push you to that level where we achieve some awesome results, snap some photos and celebrate on social media, just to watch you tumble and crash and burn in the next 1 to 6 months. As the fat gain comes back, your confidence drops and you plummet down into very sabotage type behavior. And it's happened to so many people, which is one reason why it's very wise to just start with the baseline, and we'll go into future strategies after that. So baseline, it all depends on your current intake of carbohydrates, but the baseline of where I like to get most people to, well, let's look at it that way, more of a goal outcome, and then you can adjust and fit what works for you, would be this. Fats for breakfast, help with the brain and the energy first thing in the morning. Fats for mid-morning. Carb for lunch. We'll talk about the type of carb. Fats for afternoon. Fats for dinner. Fats for a pre-bedtime snack. So you can see that these are all more, it's like snack type meals rather than these big gargantuan meals. And so it's like really priming your metabolism. Think of it like putting logs on the fire. Just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Consistent, portioned fuel. This is controlling blood sugar. When you're packaging meals in a PVC meal, protein, veggie, carb, or a PVF meal, protein, veggie, fat, you are packaging it in a way that your body can best absorb all the minerals and nutrients and utilize them in your health, helping to restore organs that detoxify your body, like your liver, very, very important, which other things like helping your adrenal glands to function at their best, which that's a direct connection to your thyroid. If you have any thyroid issues, whether it's hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, a lot of people I work with have had a thyroidectomy due to thyroid cancer, then this is going to be a very, very, very good strategy for you. Now remember, the whole point of the carb was for physiological or psychological benefit. And so let's look at it this way. If you're working out in the morning, maybe we feel like our body just needs a carb after the workout. So we could just exchange those like that. Maybe we're like, no, I'm fine on fats after my morning workout, but I really just mindset, I just need something in the afternoon. I can have a protein and a veggie to balance my blood sugar, but I'm going to plan for some carbs that are a little more indulgent, but this is where we keep this in check. C is going to stand for 20 to 30 grams of carbs. So you flip over the label of any food you want to eat. If it's processed, sugary, starchy, chewy, chunky, most of the time I'm going to want you to look at that carbohydrate number. And you don't look at the protein, you don't look at the fats, you just look at the carbs, and you portion that out, whatever is 20 to 30 grams worth, and you attach that to your anchor of a protein and veggie. That's going to really help you to control the blood sugar and not spike it as bad, but also prevent it from crashing down due to the stabilizer of the protein. Very, very important. Another really cool side benefit is, let's think of it this way. If you're going to spike your insulin, and so your body is in absorption mode, wow, what a great strategy. Let's put some cofactors, some vitamins and minerals with that, and let's pull those into the cells to use. I like that. All right, 20 to 30 grams of carbs, by the way, if you just make a fist, chop it at the wrist, chop it at the knuckles, that's about a half of a cup. Half a cup of carbs typically is going to be your 20 to 30 gram of carb range. Some of them that are cooked more on our complex carb or healthier power carb side, things like quinoa, lentils, brown rice, oats. Sometimes we can go up to 2/3 cup. But as you start looking at your labels and use this as your little measuring stick, you will start learning very quickly. And you don't need to memorize any other measurements than these, because once we understand these, even if you end up eating 3,000 calories, we still use the same representation, and that's where we're going to start adding in. So let's go into that. Let's say you are a man who you are trying to lose fat, but you're active and you do gym lifting like 3 to 4 times a week, and you're over 6 feet tall, and maybe you're like 220 pounds right now. So how are you going to subsist on 1,500 calories? I don't ever want you to. This needs to be adjusted. Your strategy needs to be adjusted for your caloric intake. And so here's the fun thing. For every 15 to 30 grams, just think of it this way. We're going to be adding about 150 calories. Now, why? I mean, if you did the math, you could like prove me wrong and show me, well, you know, that's a little bit under, that's a little bit over, but I will tell you from having coached thousands of people through this and having written thousands of these plans, The strategy of these ballparks works themselves out in the end for in Power Foods Lifestyle Tier 1 and Tier 2. In Tier 3, there does come a point in fat loss, let's say a female's at 15% body fat and I need to get her down to 11% body fat. There would come a time that we tighten in these numbers for that individual, but most people don't need to push to that level. Most people, we're working on functional wellness. We're helping our bodies to function at their best, to enjoy good moods, confidence by getting some of the extra body fat off. Extra body fat is nothing other than a distress symbol from your body that it needs some help in regenerating the homeostasis that it so desires. Homeostasis is at ease, when every system in the body is calm and working properly. So when we're holding on body fat, either our cortisol's high, or we've got hormone imbalance, or we have unregulated amounts of food coming in the body, and we've got to work on all of that. But the good news is with the Power Foods Lifestyle, we can expedite all of the processes, all of the things that people recommend. Eat this food, take this supplement, da da da. As you learn Power Foods Lifestyle strategy, you will start having a home base for every principle you ever learn about nutrition to land, and it will ease your mind. It will help you start making sense of it rather than getting more and more confused. And that's my goal in teaching you the Power Foods Lifestyle, this strategy and method of thinking about food and our total macros, and not just being like, just eat healthy, don't worry about it. Unfortunately, either A, you are in sick care, and we do need to focus on this, and we do need to have some strategy, both for your body and your brain, which I would argue is 80% your brain that we need strategy for. I think your body's pretty resilient and could handle this however it needed to, but helping us have a good system to repeat. Human beings work well with systems, and that's what the Power Foods Lifestyle is. It's a system to help you think. So let's go into our fats now. Fat energy nutrient is going to be 8 to 12 grams of fat. Now, why is that number lower? Well, do you remember how I said that there were 9 calories of gram per fat, while carbs had 4 and proteins had 4? So therefore, to reach the same amount of calories, because this is going to be about 80 to 100 calories, I usually do, let's just make it even, let's just do 100. For every C you add, that's 100 calories, and then for every F you add, that's about 100 calories. So if this is 1500 and we want to now make it a 1600 calorie plan, we would add a fat. We could add a carb, but do you need the carb? What's your goal? You have to define all these variables before you build into your strategy. Maybe we're recognizing I get hungry at night and really munchy. Well, then strategically we would put an extra 100 calories here in the form of fat. Okay, we've already got our protein anchor. Once your protein and your veggies are set, my friends, trust me, leave them alone. All other manipulation of your body, whether you're trying to lose body fat, whether you're trying to gain muscle, hopefully, okay, whoa, take that back. Some people I do work with to gain body fat. So fair game. All right, so there's 1600 calorie plan. Here's a 1700 calorie plan. What if you're a male who's really trying to put on some muscle, or you feel like the total amount of protein just isn't quite enough and you're still on the high end? Well, then maybe we need to go like this. You could do this at any meal, but all you would do is add another range of protein here. So now your calories just went up by another 150. So you can see how it works going up. So I've gotten some men into what we would call the quadruple PVF meal. So it's a PPPP, VVVV, FFFF, or maybe it was quadruple P, quadruple V, double C, double F. Now here's the thing, with veggies, I'm okay if you cap it out at 2 or even 1. I don't want you to feel like a bloated fiber ball in your belly all day long. But I do want to make sure your veggies are distributed throughout the day so your body has ample opportunity and windows to absorb those vitamins and minerals, as well as provide the neurotransmitters for your brain. We work on internal health while we're manipulating body composition on the outside. It's really, really cool. Now here's a question I get asked a lot, which is, Christy, I'm not getting in that 6th meal. What should I do? Well, what we do know from the science is total caloric intake and the sustainability is really, really critical when it comes to body composition. Now, if we're talking about a small 100 to 300 calorie cycling wave, I'm not so concerned about that. If you're sticking with your strategy and your calories are fluctuating slightly like that, don't be alarmed. It's okay. It's not the end of the world if you had 2 extra portion sizes, but you're sticking to the overall strategy, which is the types of meals and the packaging of those meals as they come in. Your body will balance itself out. But if it's strict, restrict, restrict, boom, restrict, 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 boom, 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 restrict. That's what creates this cacophony of distress in your body. So if we want to now cut to 1400 calories, let's go like this. So we go back to original baseline. Let's move this back over here. And then to reduce 100 calories, we would take off either a carb or a fat. Well, if this was my client and she was telling me, or he was telling me, you know, I just really don't think I need that carb mid-morning. I'm feeling really good and I'd like to settle a little bit more into my body's producing a little more ketones and relying on the fats for energy. Well then, that's great because we can just swap out. Actually, let's just take off that. And we would strip, that's called stripping. We would strip the energy nutrient from the meal where you felt like either you were so busy or psychologically it didn't really matter to you. And so you can strip that meal, but you still keep the neurotransmitter, that anchor producer from the PV in there. That could be as simple as, you know, really mixing up some shredded chicken with some diced cucumber or celery and eating that. A lot of people, if it's mid-morning, are doing a protein shake in water. Or of course you can do an unsweetened cashew milk or almond milk or coconut milk with maybe a cucumber or some sliced bell pepper or some mini sweet peppers. Okay, so back to if we missed the 6th meal, then guess what? That's okay. I would like the meals to be as, you know, the frequency and the recurring of them as consistent as possible. So we're just going to redistribute these. Strategically, let's ask ourselves, well, where could I use more protein? Well, I'm working out in the morning, so I think that might be effective for me to do a double P there. Awesome. Let's do 2 scoops of protein instead of 1. Or let's have some egg whites with our protein powder. You know, not mixing them together. I'm just saying at the same meal. Where would we put this veggie to make sure we get it? Well, why not have a double veggie breakfast? That sounds yummy. Let's do zucchini. Let's do some whatever, you know, throw in some spinach and some mushrooms and some, what else? I do a lot of Brussels sprouts and broccoli in my sautés at breakfast. And then we'd redistribute the fat. Where do we need a fat? You know what? I'm getting kind of hungry at night and then I want food. So I'm just going to do the double fat there. Oh my goodness. So I re-strategized for that individual need. Now, could this work for 4 meals? Yes, the exact same way. Once we get into 3 meals though, this is where we go into Power Foods Lifestyle intermittent fasting style. Intermittent fasting is where you have an 8-hour window of time during which you are eating and the rest of the day you are not. Now here is my request. I would rather you not just eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because what's happening, if this is your day and this is your blood sugar, then you're going to eat a big meal and then it's going to come down, then a big meal, and then it's come down, then a big meal, then it's come down. Even if your total macronutrient intake is the same throughout the day, do you see how we're not maximizing the time in this window? We've got here, we've got here, we've got here. And that is a problem. Even though the body is getting in the right nourishment and wonderful vitamins and minerals, if you're gonna do only 3 meals a day, this is how we do it. We're going to fast until either you're gonna have a window from 11 to 7, 1 to 9, or 3 to 11. Those are the 3 styles that Body Buddies can do. Now, of course, if you have some random schedule, feel free to adapt, but this is where I see most Body Buddies choose. If you're doing this one, you're probably sleeping at 1. If you're doing this one, you're probably going to sleep at 11. If you're doing this one, you're probably going to sleep at 9. So, from the final meal, sleep time, and then you wake up in the morning and you don't eat. You can drink. You can have your coffee, you can have your Body Buddies detox drink, you could have your kombucha, you could have your soda replacement drink, the Body Buddies apple cider vinegar drink. There's a lot of different drink options. Could you have BCAAs? I'd be okay with that. Could you have some lemon water with some glutamine in it? I'd be really happy about that. And then you start your feeding windows here. So the meal 1 would come here at 11, and then the final 2 meals are every 4 hours. So if you were doing this, it would be 11, 3, and 7. If you were doing this one, it would be 1, 4, and 9. If you do this one, it would be 3 plus 4 is 7, and 11.